Welcome to this week's DIY where I show you how I made this bird's nest on a stand out of basically twigs and paper and some plastic eggs to decorate it. So here's the materials that I used. So I've got a balloon that I blew up last night. It's already gone down loads, but I'm not bothered because this is around the size I want the inside of the nest anyway. I've got a heavy plant pot here, which is perfect because you can just squidge the balloon in there and it'll hold it still, because this gets really messy and it's quite important to make sure you've got something good to put the balloon in. So this is paper I've already torn. So this is just book pages like what I used on last week's project on the jumping bunny rabbit. I've tried scrunching pieces of paper just to get a bit extra thickness and texture, because I want this nest to look really like natural. So this is just brown paper rolled tightly and then like twisted, and some twine as well. So next I just got some water, just warm water. It's nicer than cold, isn't it? And I put some school glue in, which is just PVA water-based glue, or is it Mod Podge? I think in America they seem to use that a lot. And then just mixed it together and then just chucked in all the book pages. So I've cut generally strips, like longer strips, because I feel like that's just imitates twigs and it'll be easier to create the nest going round than using little bits. So I pushed all that in, and then looking at last week's project that I done. Thank you for everyone, by the way, that subscribed my channel, that loved this project. Just adding some tea in because there wasn't enough water in, and well, the dog would have only drank the tea anyway. So thank you for everyone that subscribed to last week's project. This is even messier than doing the rabbit, because this is I'm just clagging a loads of bits of materials onto the top third, I would say, or to half of the height of this balloon. So I'm just wrapping the soaked paper around. So the flat pieces of paper just went on fine, but then obviously I wanted to make things difficult for myself like I always do. So I added bigger chunks of twisted paper and twine to create gaps between the pieces of paper, so it wasn't just one big mound of paper. So I just added some glue there and tried not to lay you can see it's such a soggy mess here. I tried not to lay everything on really flat, but also tried to make sure it was all attached. So I'm trying to do around in like a spiral direction. I've added a little bit lace there, and a little bit trim, just to add a little bit interest and texture. So then I just checked all the little bits were still stuck, because some bits were coming loose, and I just popped it next to my radiator here. I was mindful that this was going to take a long time to dry, and I'm trying to get this video published by Sunday. It did dry overnight. I had to leave the heating on overnight though. So next, one of my little packs of papers here. I thought this would be perfect for covering these plastic eggs. So I've gone with a blue, a brown, and a blue and brown, just keeping it natural, but adding a little bit of blue so it's got a little bit of colour. I do like all natural looking DIYs, but it's nice to add a little bit of colour sometimes. So I just pulled the soaked paper into little pieces, and then just used my finger to kind of roll out the little creases, and then just made sure that all the bits of egg, so this was a purple egg, made sure all the bits of egg were covered, so the colour wasn't shining through. So on this egg, I kind of wrapped it open so it looked like a cracked open egg. Later on, didn't really use this. Here she is, looking for attention. Well, I can guarantee she's after me tea, because I have made another cup of tea since that incident. And then she'll jump on and have a little nosy to see what I'm doing. But she doesn't get much tea. I maybe give her my tea twice a day, just a little bit in the bottom. It's really weak anyway, the way I have my tea. That's the look she gives us when she wants a cup of tea. So she just finishes that for me. Oh, she's so patient when I'm doing my videos. She's my little companion. So this is me nest on the radiator. Oh, so pleased it was dry. But look at the balloon, it's totally shriveled up. I was looking forward to popping it, but that didn't happen. But look how gorgeous it's turned out. I love how natural it looks. I was going to put it on this stand, and I thought, I want to try and keep it quite natural. But look, the sun shining and you can see right through. It's not particularly many layers thick, it's just different textures. So I thought I would create a stand to match last week's project, my DIY toilet roll bunny, made from mainly toilet rolls. So I thought I would do a little stand for it and then I can set it next to me jumping bunny. So I had this twig from outside, and I just thought this would look so good pushed through the nest and like on about that angle. So I just snapped it to the length I wanted it, and then just cut a hole in. It was a little bit tricky, just making sure I cut the hole in without running the nest. And then I just gradually poked it through. Oh, by the way, we had our Mother's Day last Sunday here, because it's, yeah, I have realised in the US you have Mother's Day in May. You have it on a completely different date, because I had quite a few people saying when I'd done that DIY jumping rabbit, quite a few people mentioning it's not Mother's Day yet. Like, it is here. Anyway, so yes, that's kind of clears up that big confusion. So I just covered this base. So I used the other half of this base last week, this polystyrene bowl, cut it in half. I thought I'll use the other half for this week's DIY. So just carefully used a screwdriver this time to push a decent size hole in there, just a pilot hole so I could push the twig in. And I just covered it with the book paper, just so it wasn't just a white polystyrene base. Carefully pushed the twig in, and then to stabilise this while I'd done the finishing touches, I just obviously let the base dry, and then I just use masking tape just to hold it still because it's a bit wobbly. And then I just use hot glue. There's nothing really else you could use apart from tying bits on with twine. And I just pulled off some twigs, and I added a few twigs to the nest. And then I thought what I would do is glue on some supports underneath to stabilise the nest. So it's got a little bit less of a wobble, but also just so it looked a bit more like a realistic nest. This is a little bit tricky, as it always is with hot glue. Just be really careful. And that's better. It actually looks like it's being supported now by the twigs. I just added another one in there. And then for the base, I pushed in twigs going round just to give it like feet. And it was still a bit top heavy, but it wasn't falling over. And then I just glued on bits of moss and bark, and that weighted the base down nicely. And I've just got it on there on just like a bark base. And then I put the eggs in, positioning them just naturally, put a little bit of moss in between them. I had some feathers that I had out of a cushion, that, you know, how they always make their way out of the feather cushions. And I popped a few of them little feathers in there. Ah, I loved making this. It did get really messy at one point, but yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching this DIY bird's nest in a natural kind of theme and slightly vintage. Read more over on my blog, minimoor.co.uk. I'll leave a link down below for that, and a link for the jumping bunny rabbit in case you missed it, made from toilet rolls. That is on last week's project. I'll leave a link for that as well. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. Please subscribe and hit the notification if you're enjoying my DIYs. Thank you for watching. Bye.